Hello Antilly viewers! I got up this morning and immediately started reading, which is why I'm still in my pajamas, but let's do this! Chapters 4 through 6 of Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Last video I was just sort of at a loss to even know what to talk about because I had no idea where this book was going, but now, time travel, the loop, Jacob's been to September 3rd, 1940, lots of things are crazy. I sort of talked about this in my first video, but I really like how, as the reader, we're so willing to believe everything. Like, the second that Jacob got out of the little cairn, I think is what they're called, the tunnel thing that, or the cave that sends you back into the loop, and the weather was different and it wasn't muddy, I like instantly knew what had happened. I instantly was like, well, we've just time traveled. And then as he started putting the pieces together and seeing the horse-drawn carriages, and it took him a very long time to come around to what had happened to him, which again, if that happened to me, if I suddenly time traveled, it would probably take me a lot of time and a lot of proof to believe that, because obviously in the normal world that's just not something that we have found to exist yet. But in a book, you're just like, yeah, time travel, come on, Jacob, realize it. And so it's just funny. It's just funny, like, waiting for him to come around and realize. I also really liked when he was talking to Miss Peregrine and she asked, when did you start realizing that your grandfather was telling you the truth? And he just sort of, he was still very much in a daze, which totally makes sense. But I loved how his response was, I suppose I'm just realizing it right now. And that, you know, made her feel bad, but also I don't know what she should have expected, because it's all very not normal, and especially in modern day right now, as she even said, people don't really believe in this stuff more and more. So anyway, I liked that exchange between the two of them. I also like, Miss Peregrine kind of seems like a scary person right away in this book, and so I'm glad that she's like a very kind woman. I also think, okay, we don't know yet if Jacob has powers, because we don't know if Abe did, because when he asks, was Abe like you? Miss Peregrine responds, he's like you, to Jacob. So either that means that Abe didn't ever have powers but was still welcomed into this group, because she said he was very strong, that's all we know right now. But I also find it a little strange that Jacob hasn't noticed anything about himself, unless it's like the ability to see monsters. But that's only happened to him once. So I don't know. I guess I'm hoping we'll find out in the next chunk if Jacob has powers or not, and subsequently if Abe had powers. I also will be really interested to find out, if we ever do, why Abe left, why he decided to move on with his life and allow himself to grow old. If there was something that happened, if there's something that happens to you staying in a loop too long. There's a lot of things. We got this sort of onslaught of new information, which is like awesome. Like, oh my god, all of a sudden we know all of these things that we didn't know before. But there's still so many questions to be answered. I'm not really certain what even, I just feel like there's a lot of things that we don't even know to ask yet. I'm curious to know if Jacob is going to want to stay in the loop. I think a lot of that will be reliant upon whether or not he has powers. And what is, I don't know, it's one of those things where, I don't know, there's a lot of stories post, like, Alice in Wonderland or post Wizard of Oz, where you have this amazing magical experience in this world and then you go back to your normal life and nobody believes you, and then you start to go crazy because people think that you're crazy, and people already think that Jacob's crazy. There's no way he's ever going to be able to tell anyone about what he has seen here, and there's no way his life's ever going to actually go back to normal. So I don't know. Maybe he'll stay. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you think he's going to stay or not. Let me know in the comments if you think he has magical powers or not. And for next week, we'll be reading chapters 7 through something. Let me check. We'll be reading chapters 7 through 9 for next week. Another 3 chapters. Should be really easy. Thanks for watching. I'll see you then.